If it pleases God to keep me alive, and Nigeria were to find itself in the unfortunate position of having Bola Tinubu succeed Muhammadu Buhari, I will proceed on exile before it will be sworn in, and shall thereafter renounce my Nigerian citizenship with uncommon alacrity. I said this before the NSAS protest. I said this before his role became known. I said it before we became aware of the full extent of the criminality of the Lagos state government, the LCC, controlled by the Lagos state government and Tinubu's nominees. I said all of this before I became aware of a murder plot on my life by elements of the Lagos crime family. I said this before I had raised a petition to the Nigerian police, which I submitted in the office of Akim Odumosu, who is today part of the park management in Lagos State. I said this at the time before I submitted a petition naming the names of those involved in trying to murder me in Lagos State. I said this because I understand the unholy triumvirate in Lagos State, the trinity between the criminal state, the Nigerian police, and the crime families and elements on the street of Lagos State. I said all of this in February 2020. I said so because I know that the reflexes of the powers that be in Lagos State are essentially criminal. It's not about being corrupt. Corruption is not unique to Lagos State. But if I submitted a petition in, well, I think this was, interestingly, it was later in 2020, I believe, I submitted a petition naming names. The commissioner of police at the time, to whom that petition was submitted, is part of park management today under MC Mushroom Pikin. Now you tell me that someone like me can coexist in a state like Lagos, already criminally captured and controlled by Tinubu and his gang. I can coexist in the same state if he becomes the president of Nigeria. I'll be a fool to hang around. He'll be suicidal. I said this long before he gained the ticket of his party. So when people are interpreting what I said in 2020, they need to be placing it in context to understand clearly that unlike them who are reacting in time, I spoke in the womb of time, understanding the existential evil with which I am dealing. But I really don't believe that he stands any chance of winning. That's the truth. Where is he going to win? Where? Even this Lagos State, let me be very clear. A viable candidate comes out for governorship in Lagos, Dele Farotimi is going to be behind that candidate, campaigning clearly to the hearing of all and sundry. There is enough of this criminal capture of a state. It has to end someday. And we have to draw the line somewhere. And I think this is actually where it gets drawn. It's the Icarus hubris. Just because you've captured one state, extended territory to other parts, what good does it do? And then some idiots will be telling me Yoruba Ronu, Yoruba Lokan. What kind of Yoruba Lokan? 23 years in Lagos State, what has it battered? How many schools has it built? How many hospitals? How many roads? What has been the benefit to those of us who live in Lagos and call it home? You can paint road, you can go ahead and be doing the expressway, put toll gates here. That's another, but go off the expressways, go into the schools. How many people who benefited from Jakonde schools in this country today, in this state, and even beyond Lagos State? I'm not from Lagos State. I came to Lagos State in 1995. See me, I'm getting old now. I actually came to Lagos State in 1985 to enter LASU. LASU is the fruit of Jakonde's vision. He dreamt it up. He envisioned it. He started it off. He wasn't there anymore. I came, and a whole generation of Lagosians went to LASU. How many of us who went to LASU in that time can send our children back to LASU now? How many secondary schools? How many primary schools? So when people are talking to me about Yoruba, I just look at them like they've become sophisticated morons, just like Nana called them. Sophisticated morons arguing on behalf of your enslavers to validate your enslavement. Exactly what as his hegemony battered either for Lagos State or for the Yorubas themselves. A history of land seizures, avaricious grabs of other people's patrimony. They will be waving the free trade zone as though the free trade zone is a success story. It is a story of avarice. How many communities have been rendered homeless in that place? So you've paid them compensation. Well, look, I don't want, there is a lot about the question. This Tinubu one is personal. I live in Lagos State. Everything I own in the world is in this town. I do not intend to leave this town for anybody. So that one is personal.
Well, let's get this clarity. You made an assertion that there are no clear cuts for Tinubu winning the presidency. I mean, but against all odds, he grabbed his party's ticket.
How happy did his party's president, General Buhari, how happy was he looking? How happy are the lot of those who should be behind him? Look, let's be clear about something.
Yeah.
A man goes to Abeokuta, a generally taciturn man when it comes to the deployment of power. You went to Abeokuta and you started hearing a Milokan, you are hearing a Lei. That was a man ready to capsize the boat. That's my own reading. That the party that had announced a consensus candidate, or unless you are saying that Adamu was just on a frolic of his own, which he couldn't have been. If he now managed to call them out because he had been plotting and waiting, which is the height of the frustrations that brought out a Milokan. The man was speaking honestly when he said a Milokan. They sat in their coven and agreed what to do. What they agreed in their coven, we didn't know until they came outside to start telling us. And the man was emphatic. He said he went to the man. The man was weeping on TV. He went to him and he said to him, look, we can build an alliance capable of winning this election. You run. And he was to run as the man's vice. But of course, we know sufficiently now that Shola Saraki's ambition for the Senate presidency, and being the wily politician that one is, he could see clearly that if there is a Muslim ticket, his own chances of becoming the Senate president would have been destroyed. So of course, he was one of those who kicked against a Muslim ticket, and they've said sufficient in the public space for us to piece it together. So it is clear that truly, based on the agreements reached within their coven, Emilokan, it was his turn truly. But it was his turn to do what? To carry their party's ticket. Carrying the party's ticket is one thing. Winning the election is another ball game entirely. Are the northern power brokers prepared to trust him with power? That's one. The second thing is this: even if they are willing to trust him with power, is it only the Northwest and Northeast that makes presidents? And is it the only person they will vote for in the Northwest and Northeast? They won't vote for their own Atiku. Kwakwanso will not win. Don't forget that in the last election, I believe Atiku lost even in the Northeast, which is his own zone. So Atiku would lose again, but this time around he will lose to Tinubu, but he will get some votes. And then come to the North Central. Tinubu is actually going to get the people of the North Central to vote for him. The man who was in Ondo State looking for cattle when Sister Funke was killed. They know that for him is about power. Anything is negotiable. He doesn't look when it comes to the actual election. Tinubu would have to understand that even in Yoruba land, we would ask questions of him. Yeah. He's not going to have a home run here. Because we are done with this game of, is our turn. Our turn to do what? To enslave? To do what? The only thing that is certain under a Tinubu government, now I'm not talking APC, I'm saying Tinubu as a person, the only thing that is certain is that he will empower all the criminals in the society all the agberos will take over. They would have immunity from all kind. Already in Lagos State, we're hearing stories of how Okadas cannot drive, they can't ride if they are not wearing vests advertising his candidacy. In Lagos State, or agberos will begin to drag them. So that's the level of criminality that is already normal in this space. So when we are talking about when the time comes, election hasn't started. The beauty of the current situation that most people are not paying attention to is the fact that unlike before, the last election, 2019, I believe we had less than 4 months between the emergence of candidates and the actual elections. This time around, we had close to 9 months, and we are still 8 months away from the elections. Maybe they are just asking for certificates now. Yeah. And the scrutiny is currently on Tinubu. Scrutiny will soon fall on other persons as well.
Exactly. Let me also take you up on that. I mean, the social media had been agog and ecstatic about Tinubu's certificates, scandal, so to say, as he refused to report the primary school and the secondary school he attended while submitting his form to INEC. And this has actually got a lot of responses and reactions on social media. It's just not now that Tinubu had been dogged with the issue of his certificate. What are your response to these issues?
Here is the thing with this Tinubu certificate. I think because Buhari has lowered the bar, in fact, not just lowered the bar, Buhari has pulverized the bar. We have a president who we know does not have a school certificate. They will tell us he's a general, he attended courses, but so the standard has been destroyed, so anybody can actually aspire. So it's not really about certification. When you begin to demand Tinubu's certificates, these are actually code words for demanding to know who he is. It's not really about certification. Obviously, Mobile would have gleaned some sort of certification that they must have verified before they would have employed him. My imagination. I'm also so useless with figures.
As a matter of fact, there was actually a report that it was prior. There was a report on social media that prior to his some certain verification exercises at Mobile, that was when he decided to resign from Mobile.
Oh, okay. Now this is news to me, but what I do know is this: the demand to see his certificates for someone like me has nothing to do with demanding to know whether he's educated or not. He's obviously educated. But we're in a situation where we're dealing with a man whose name we really don't know, whose date of birth we really don't know. We don't know who went to primary school with him. Nobody knows. Once upon a time, I was told it was GCI, until some people were asking what set he went to GCI with. And then they now started this form filling thing, and they are saying you didn't go to primary school, you didn't go to secondary school, unknown soldiers carted away your certificates. All these are questions not of certification, but of character.